Hey, welcome back. I'm Crispin Jones from Mr. Jones Watches. Today we're going to be having a look at the print processes that we use when we make our watches with Paul Wardski, who's the senior print technician here. So the printing technology that we use for printing the components is pad printing. Pad printing was originally developed in the late 19th century for printing watch dials, so it's kind of nice that over 100 years later we're still using the same printing technology, although it's a bit more sophisticated than it used to be. The pad printing allows us to print a single colour at a time, and we need to mix each of those colours individually. For each colour on each component then we have to etch a printing plate, and the etch in the printing plate is very shallow into the surface, and what that does is it just gives a place for the ink to sit when we want to print. The first time you see it, the pad printer looks quite complicated, but it's a fairly simple set of actions that are actually taking place. What happens is the ink cup is attached by magnets to the printing plate, and that's a sort of reservoir of ink that's sitting against the printing plate. What happens when the machine prints, the ink cup and blade around the edge retract, and the blade basically skims off any ink that is on the surface of the plate, so the only place the ink is retained is in the etched area. The pad, which is made of silicon, comes down and presses into the etched area and lifts the ink out. It then moves it across and presses down onto whatever component we're printing, a glass or a dial or a disc hand. The ink bonds with whatever it's pressed onto, so it transfers the print onto the component. So I hope that was an interesting introduction to the pad printing that we do, and gives you a bit of insight into one of the key processes in making our watches. We look forward to seeing you in the next one when we explore another aspect of the watchmaking process.